Everything is empty. You may wonder, where did everything go? Some of it went in here. Some of it went up here. Before we start the whole demo thing, I wanted to demonstrate one of the problems that we have with this current kitchen setup. Not only are we limited with counter space, like this is all that we have. That's, not a whole lot. The other issue is this lovely section, corner section. Cabinet, right? Stove, right? This is like really, really deep. This is as far as I can reach comfortably. So, yeah, not functional at all whatsoever. I don't like it. No. You may proceed with the demo.
Got it?
Yes.
Good.
So, you should know by now that we have animals, right? We have 2 cats and a dog. No human children, but this same thing applies to that as well. During construction zones and things, you obviously don't want your precious loved ones rummaging around things that you don't want them to get hurt with, such as pieces of wood that have, lovely spikes in them and stuff. So before we can further our demolition and the rest of the project, we have to once again create a barrier type of situation. To actually, properly access everything, we need doors. So behind me here, let me put this down before I hurt something. Closet doors, regular bifold closet doors. There's 2 of them. We're going to be replacing all of them in the house, so we don't need these. These are just extra. So we're going to use them to our advantage and place them in a certain way on the wall so we can still have access to and from the rest of the house, but also be able to close off this area. So that's what we're doing right now. And then once that's done, we can actually start for real, So that's where the new sink is going, eventually, a long time from now. There's our old sink. Finally, we can resume our demo. Question on what we're doing. We have lots of electrical things that need to be reworked and reorganized and whatnot. So to make it easier sort of on ourselves, we are taking off all of the drywall in this vicinity. This is cranberry juice, I promise. Now, originally, we were going to do a cute little butler's pantry, insert inspo photo here, where it's cornered and whatnot, and has a little door, and counter space, and this is a pantry.
For the record, I said there wasn't enough room for it, but I digress.
unfortunately, there would be enough room, just fine. But because we value counter space more than pantry space for the time being, we have decided to forego this whole thing. And instead, we are going to be converting, I'm gonna move you over here, our laundry room situation into a laundry pantry combo. But that'll be a whole nother video probably for another time. So, by the way, disclaimer, a piece of advice that I have researched and heard other people say, when you're doing a big house project, it is very important that before you actually start doing like the bulk of the construction and the installation parts of it, to not change your mind, to have a clear set goal and plans before you begin that part. So since we are in the demo phase,
It's still early enough for us to change our minds.
it's still early
That's why
enough.
we were laying things out to test it, just to be safe. It's better to discover it now while we can still do something about it than to try to deal with that problem after things are already installed.
But the mind changing that we've done wasn't that big of a decision to change, because really all we're doing is just making more counter space and more cabinets that we're gonna have to get, but we haven't purchased those yet, thankfully. So yes, this is what we're doing now. Fun electrical work. Before you do anything electrical, you always want to make sure that the power is turned off, lest ye be electrocuted. This is the line to the dishwasher. It was right here. Since we have relocated our sink situation to over here, the dishwasher is going right here in this area. So this wire needs to be rerouted over here. Before we can reroute it though, we need to push it back up into the attic and the garage. So that's what we're doing now. We also have to do the same thing sort of to the oven power, because the oven is now going to be over here. It'll all make sense eventually. Pull more. Like a lie. Oh, it's a new day. And what are we doing today? We are ripping down the whole ceiling. Why, you ask? Let me tell you why. So this light right here is wired very not correctly.
Wow. Starting off strong on this one.
So because of that, we need to access all of the wiring and all that stuff. Obviously, before we do that, the electricity will be off at the breaker box so we don't electrocute ourselves. But for the time being, all we're doing right now is ripping down the ceiling. But back to the wiring part. There's like a whole city of wires right here that aren't properly like connected to the light switch or something. They're all like I'll let him explain.
We got a few things going on. Since, yes, removing this light and everything, trying to rewire that has been a pain. Everything is joined at this light here, and it's going to be moving, and so trying to move that without having access to the ceiling could be trouble.
Also, we are putting recessed lighting throughout the whole
Yeah,
area.
we're running other lighting elsewhere. That big light is going away, so I mean, we're going to be cutting a lot of holes in the ceiling as it is, to where we may as well just rip it all down and put a new ceiling up, make it look all nice and pretty.
Yeah, it would be much easier to have brand new drywall with new seams versus trying to match up old seams with the new drywall.
Trying to patch it in different areas.
So it's a little more work, it's a little extra, but I think in the long run it'll help and everything. These are the recessed lightings that we're putting in various places. They have a nightlight on them. I'm so excited. We have finished adding lights. You ready? Are you ready? Yay! We have 6 total can lights, recessed lights. But here's the cool part. You ready? Night lights! So these work. You flip the switch on, and then you flip it again quickly to activate the nightlight section. If anyone is interested, this is what the box looked like. Hello everyone! Today is a new day. We have finally finished the electrical in our kitchen space, and we are moving on to drywall today. But before we move on to drywall, I kind of wanted to go over a few things that we have learned as far as electrical goes. For example,
all outlets in a wet area, such as kitchens and bathrooms, should be GFCI outlets, like this one here. You can tell because it has
sound like that.
the test and reset buttons directly on it, because it has a breaker built into it directly.
And why is that?
So that if you splash water on it, it just cuts out there instead of tripping the whole circuit.
Yes. So if you don't know by now, in any wet areas, not just kitchens, but bathrooms, mudrooms, outdoor stuff, there should be a GFC. I think outdoors are a little bit different.
I meant like garages.
Yeah. There should be a GFCI outlet out there in those areas. But what else have we learned?
Apparently in the kitchen, it's recommended that there be an outlet within 2 feet of any space on the counter. So that's why over here, we actually added in an outlet, because there was one over there and one over here, and that was it. So we have taken one that was down there, moved it up to account for the counter, put a new one there, and then again moved this one up.
To reiterate, as far as height goes, we made them all the same height according to what was already there, 43 inches off of the ground, and each outlet no greater than 4 feet apart from each other. One other thing that was almost overlooked, since we are doing this ourselves and since we are not professionals, is your microwave. Obviously, I think I've said this already earlier on in the video, but when you're redoing a kitchen, when you're remodeling a kitchen like we are, like completely from scratch, gut, whatever, it's important to know what you want ahead of time.
So what we almost didn't account for is the fact that the microwave needs power, a plug. So that's what this guy right here is for, is base, because this is where the range is going to be, the microwave, and then the plug goes up in the cabinet.
Yes. So make sure you know what your plan is as far as the kitchen goes. So what appliances you're going to have, where the appliances are going to be, all of the appliances, and don't change your plans once you get started, because
in our case here, if we didn't think about it until after the cabinets and all that were put in,
it would not be a fun day.
No.
If you notice, not holding anything. We only have 2 screws in. But this, if you can see, is a very ingenious little trick thanks to Jeff. Once again, I will link his channel in the description. Basically, it's a 2x4 screw attached to the joists that you don't screw in all the way. You turn it, and it's supposed to serve as like an extra arm kind of thing. It's fantastic. Saves a lot of effort. Highly recommend. I also wanted to point out, in case anyone is interested, this is a very helpful tool to use for anything. Definitely get one of these. I mean, step ladders are great too because they're more easily storable and stuff. Obviously, big ladders are, and little ladders over there are great. But these, it's like your own little mini scaffolding. You can walk across it as you're doing things. You don't have to keep getting down and up and down and up. So 5 stars, highly recommend.